What's up, everybody, and how are you doing? My name is Conrad, and this is Con Radio. Today is Wednesday, July 6th, 2022, the year of our Lord, and thank you for stopping by. I have big news today. I have incredible news today. Every once in a while you wake up in the morning and you feel like your body's just been zapped of energy. Like overnight somebody had come into your bedroom and hooked you up to some sort of energy juicing machine and took all of your energy and gave it to all those purple head rioters out there, or gave it to all the fat jowled Fox News hosts. You know what I'm saying? That's how I felt this morning. And I don't know who took my energy, and I tried to turn on TV and watch it, but I couldn't figure it out. So it's like sometimes the Matrix is paying attention to what that means for you and why you feel that way. And you'll get a little answer of that kind of thing through your metaverse news feed. And today is no different. I was trying to watch different things on TV, trying to get updated into what's going on in the world, and at least through the perspective of major media. And I'm sorry about the sound. I got half of the studio is insulated, the other half still requires it, so I have the... See how loud that is over there? Trying to... There's just like this little crackling sound, and I don't know if it's... Sometimes I think it's a bad cord. That's what it sounds like, 'cause it's... Anyways, the news story that I got this morning via the metaverse was there are 6 benefits. If you were to wake up every morning, there are 6 benefits of having figs in the morning that were soaking in water overnight. Water. And I'm going to read you those 2 right now. 6 incredible benefits of consuming figs soaked in water overnight. This was sent to me via metaverse. Me specifically. Did you know that Indian medical practitioners have been using figs or Angier for the longest possible time to treat various conditions? Yeah, you heard it right. Figs work great to remedy for respiratory, endocrine, digestive, immune, and reproductive system related issues. The best part about this wonder fruit is that it does not contain any fat or cholesterol, has low sodium content, and a balanced amount of carbohydrates, sugar, and fiber. Call it fig or Angier, the tasty dry fruit is part of the mulberry family. It has a chewy texture and crunchy seeds, and is round in shape. You can incur a host of benefits from consuming figs soaked in water in the morning on an empty stomach. Did you know that this fruit is a powerhouse of nutrients as well? It has several other health benefits that are listed below. I know after reading this, you're like, what could they be? Could they be something different than all of the other health benefits that happen? No, they're going to be the exact same things, but they're going to list them below. And maybe you'll just become a figgot like me, you dirty figgot, or a figger. Either one. Either one's acceptable in the fig world. I did not know that a fig was a thing. I thought that a fig was like a fish. You know what I mean? There's flounder, there's tuna, there's all kinds. I thought that a fig was like a type of fruit that other, like maybe an apple's a fig. I don't know. Maybe a damn grapple's a fig. I don't know. But apparently a fig is its own thing. So, and the only figs I used to have were fig Newtons. And so I was a figgot when I was a young boy. They're rich in minerals, which I guess give you reproductive health. Don't need it. Not since Roe v. Wade. Controls blood glucose levels. They have potassium, help with blood sugar in your body. Okay. Assist in bowel movement. Have you had a nice BM today? Figs have high fiber content, which helps in maintaining bowel movements. Individuals who suffer from constipation, freedom from constipation, he must include figs. I used to have about 10 fig Newtons before I had me about 30 cups of pudding. It's yogurt. It helps blood pressure levels. Okay, that's good. I guess antioxidants are present in figs and can help eliminate the free radicals. Don't stop now, we got a reason to live. From the human body, while also checking blood pressure levels. It leads to boost in heart health by preventing the blockage of what the medical experts call coronary arteries. It keeps the bones healthy. Your bones remain healthy if they get a good dose of calcium. All right. And it aids in weight loss. Figs are high in fiber, but low in calories. The dry fruits are extremely filling, and incorporating them into your diet will help you stay full between meals and avoid eating too much food in a day, thereby leading to weight loss. You mean if I eat less, I'll weigh less? Fuck you. So anyways, I haven't tried it yet. I'm really looking forward to finding a figure distillery or a figget stand later today and get me a pack of these figs, stick of figs or whatever they come on, and soaking them in some water overnight, and then I'll tell you about it tomorrow on the show. So yeah, it's Wednesday, and I got everything I need, I think, to finish insulating the shed. It was a very hot day yesterday, and I got about half done. I got to pull everything out of here, and luckily, with the beauty of I guess camera tricks, it looks as if I'm in the same studio, whereas if I was to just turn the camera, you'd see that I have all this business going on all over the place, which you can't see back behind the light. So I'm in I get really, 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 really anxious and uncomfortable when this stuff happens. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like everything being out of order, and I get very Rain Man about it. And sometimes it's a lot of times it's my own doing. This is very directly to my own doing, and I understand that. That doesn't make it less of a natural feeling, or I shouldn't say that, a natural reaction maybe that I always have to this kind of stuff. And so I'm very anxious right now. There's dirtiness everywhere. There is just disorganization. I don't know where everything's at right now in here, and I don't know where I'm going to put everything. And, I try to think 50 steps ahead, and I know that Shannon will be here at some point in the future, and how do I want to set this up? And I've yet to even really set up the new power station for the, meaning the computer for the podcast moving forward, at least out of the shed. And, I don't know exactly what or how I want to do that yet, totally, because a lot of times it's going to be me right here, and a lot of times it's going to be maybe me and Shannon, or me and another guest, depending on what we're doing that particular day or week. So I got ideas, but I have not done them yet. And then also trying to avoid the temptation of doing what everybody else does and feeling like that's something I have to do in order to be successful at this. Setting my stuff up like everybody else sets their stuff up. And that's very, like, a lot of people do that. A lot of people, whether they're successful or not, you emulate. And I get learning and seeing, but, there's also, it doesn't matter. I got to do it the way I know how to do it, the way is comfortable for me, because it's mine. You know what I mean? And so you have to fight. You have to take both of those things in. So there's a lot of anxiety going on. I can't wait to get it finished and wrapped up and looking tight in here, looking like that dude's that dude is one badass figure, dude. He eats figs every morning. I hope people walk by and say that. That damn, who is that waterhead? Oh, that's the town figure. Yep, he eats figs every morning and podcasts about it. So I'm I'm excited to do that. I've been in a panic attack or anxiety attack mood since I left my uncle's on Monday, the 4th. June the 4th be with you, dude. And yeah, I was... It's kind of a long story, and nobody really understands it but me, and that's typically how it goes. But I'll tell it. So, there's a few things that are going on all at once. There's a battle happening within myself and within myself versus the world. Me versus the world. As you guys may or may not know, on the usually Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I go back up to Wichita and run, just cut grass, run a landscaping business by myself. I don't have a lot of properties to take care of. It's manageable, and that's fine. And in December, my wife quit her job to move down to Oklahoma and pretty much just she's a private lesson music teacher and has a number of students, but also just be a homemaker and take care of the kids, after school and all that stuff. And it's, after discussing it over and over and me, kind of pushing as far as what do you want to do? You got to pursue it. Come to find out, it's like, I just want to do that. That's what fulfill. Okay. Then that's okay. Well, there still is the part of life that the unfortunate reality of life of, in this country, even if you're not trying to keep up with the Joneses, there's still a basic level of comfort that my wife and I would appreciate, and that basic level of comfort requires a certain amount of income. You know what I mean? And the taco truck was never going to be that. I mean, unless I really, and I don't want to say never. I think it actually could be, but strategically there's a number of things that would have to be done in order to make it be that. And a lot of those would be expanding, adding additional trailers to the fleet, staying consistent at different locations that we know are successful at, and having a presence there probably on a continual basis with a number of different vehicles, managing crew leaders in order to provide the products and services and to the quality and standards that Shannon and I have for that. Even if it is just for that food, there's still a basic level of quality that we would want. So taking all these communities that we have made ourselves known in, and then even if it was through mobile vending, trying to be more, just reinvesting in growing and expanding OK Taco, and then eventually having, maybe even instead of doing mobile, we found properties where people would give us pretty good deals to start brick and mortars in these small communities. And so there's all these opportunities where I think eventually the business would be able to not only sustain Shannon and I, but could be a great little restaurant, a fast food little thing. And I think I can see the path clearly on that. I can see how, like, if I close my eyes, which I'm doing, I can see the steps, and it's a tremendous amount of work, just like it was getting it off the ground and getting going. It's a tremendous amount of work to do that, but I can see it. I can see where you would have to go. I can see all this stuff. I can anticipate a majority of the roadblocks that would get in the way, but not all of them, of course. But the only issue, and the part that it's really hard for people on the outside to understand, is that has nothing to do with what I want to do. And people are like, well, you started. Yeah, well, we started it in it. The reason I was so excited about it was, in my mind, I thought it was going to be a way for people to get to know Shannon and I, and then try to find out more about what we do through our podcast, and want to be a part of the journey. And the unfortunate truth, so far at least, is that's not the case. People love our food. They could even like our personality, but that does not translate into them wanting to subscribe to this show or to the OK Taco show or subscribe to Con Radio. They don't follow through on that thing. And maybe it's too soon, maybe it's too early, and that would catch on. But there's also a part of me that's like, this is for the little results that we have got on that front, it's too much, and maybe there's a different avenue I have to go down. You know what I mean? And so we talked about that a bit, Shannon and I, when we were at Lake Hayburn. But I can't. It's not that I can't. I won't. I want to do this. I want to do the show, and I want this to be my thing. I want this to be my job. And every time I tell that to people, people will nod and then say, yeah, nobody believes it. Nobody believes, and that's the sad part. And that's the part that gets you your blood boiling. You know what I mean? It's like, you guys don't even listen, yet you don't believe in me. You know what I mean? That part. And then, so over the 4th of July. So anyways, that's the backstory kind of, and then I get sidetracked, and I'll try to stay on subject here. So what happened is, as you know, Jonah had wrestling camp and got back. And then when he got back, we only had a day together, and then immediately went back up to Kansas. Well, my daughter had been gone at my in-laws that whole week, and so we hadn't got to see her. And it was fine, and she wanted to, but also kind of screwed everything up, because now we're going up there to try to get stuff done before we head to Kansas City. So it kind of threw the days off a bit, and then my daughter was really wanting us to come see her. She had missed us too bad, and so, that's adding an extra hour and a half to my day, which is already, there's not enough hours in it. And I don't know why it does that little, I don't even know how bad it is on your guys' end, but I hate it. So we did. On Thursday, we went up there, and anytime I go to my in-laws, I love them, but it's the same thing. They absolutely, and maybe for good reason, they don't believe that this has any future. You know what I mean? They don't say it outright, but it's in the body language when you talk about it. And if you're excited about something, the response is never greeted with any. It's even like, you can be excited about doing a taco truck, and maybe you get that response. But when you start actually doing it, then at least you get people being like, oh, you're doing that. And nobody does that for this. Nobody has that. I mean, it's almost as if this takes nothing. This takes no talent, and anybody can do this thing, especially if nobody's listening. It's like, well, nobody's, yeah. So anyways, it gets really kind of frustrating, because, I don't look at, I kind of look at things as a failure. I think that it was a failure in the sense that I thought that being more out front with what we were doing with the OK Taco Show would lead to more traction within those communities, and that didn't pan out. So maybe in a way that could be called a failure, but I'll say it is one. But I don't really look at it as a failure, because I haven't stopped. You know what I mean? It didn't deter my ultimate dream or my passion. It just makes me now sit here and wonder and think and worry on, how do I get there now? What do I got to do now? That didn't work. So what do I do next? In pursuit of my dream, what do I do? And so when I sit up at my in-laws and, have somebody there tell me that, well, it's okay if you fail. It's all right that you failed. It's like, I've only failed if I've stopped. I've only failed if I've gave up on it. and I haven't. And so to think that, why would you even say that to me? But it was said, and really kind of started the fire that started boiling. It lit an ember in me. And so that Friday, I went down to work on the property that I work on, and my wife was just going to hang out up there at the in-laws. And listen, I don't mind that it's fine. You can live. It's fine that right now, somehow I'm able to provide enough income to where that can be okay. But there still is this little clock that's ticking in the back of my head, like, how much time do you have? Not on this earth, but like, how much time do you have that you can hold on? And there's a lot, and so everything I'm doing, if I go spend a lot of money, like if I spend money on this studio, it makes me anxious. It makes my stomach hurt, because there's no reason whatsoever after a decade of doing this to believe that there's anything there, to believe that I can make it. There's no indication to believe that, and so why are you going to go spend hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars on this thing that you've been doing and trying, and it still hasn't worked, but I do it, and I do it because it's like, if that can't work, that's, it has to. There's no if it can't. There's really no compromising in my own brain. It has to work, and so because my wife has loosened up her schedule to be more free and just be a mom and all that stuff, and teach music but at her convenience, and really without the pressure of that money having to take care of our family in any way. It contributes, of course, but it's not it's a drop in the bucket of what this family blows through on a month-to-month basis. And she knows that, or maybe she doesn't, but I'd have to think. That's the part that okay, that's where the ember that got started by somebody saying I failed when I have yet to. I mean, it's not it's not up to somebody else to determine whether or not I failed. It's only person that can determine that is me, in my opinion, because I think that you fail all the time in little things. I think every time I put out an episode and I know how many people have listened to it, in my own brain that can be a failure, but I'm only a failure if I quit on it, so I don't even look at okay, so regardless. The lack of awareness. The other day I talked about the hypocrites make me mad. I don't even know if it's hypocrites that make me mad. It's the lack of awareness that people that become hypocrites are. The lack of awareness that people seem to have when you do all kinds of things that people aren't aware. And it's not like you did something that's secret. People aren't aware when you do it right in front of them. That is what grinds my gears. If somebody is okay, for example, the Roe versus, the lack of awareness that those justices have to how this is going to affect, forget the women that need, or the women that don't want, or whatever, just how it's going to affect everything. It's going to affect relationships between people because of a decision, and now their discussions between each other. I mean, it trickles down, and it's like, are you aware that that's going to happen? And it's like, well, yeah, no, or we didn't think that far, or maybe, yeah, we did. And then if you did, then why would you do that to people? It's almost like if you are aware, then it's even more insulting. So I have to assume that you weren't. And that's what leads me to this, that it was this. So it was this whole series of events, and it's all to do with this unspoken pressure that I've put upon myself with this show, really. And so you know, I guess in my thought process, if you want to put the financial burden upon one person in the household, if that's an agreement between both parties in the household that's okay, well, the amount of free time, and then the discussion, well, what do you want to do? What is your dream? And if one person's like, this is my dream, I'm living it, and the other person is, my dream is I want to be a broadcaster, I want to do my show, and I want to have people that listen to it. That's my dream. That's what I want to do. And there's a number of things I have not done yet, and that we don't do right, and we don't do consistently, and we don't do that we need to do. I need to do, but if you are wanting to help me, then I need your help. But what happens is I get effort for, I get help. Okay, yeah, I want to help you do anything you want to do. I want to help you. I do want to help you do that. And it seems that when people do that, they don't understand that it doesn't end. I mean, there's no ending. Once you sign up on that, there's no ending. There's no days off. There's no breaks. There's no nothing. You know what I mean? There's not, because it can't be. And I know that sounds like, God, man, you can't. I'm not there yet. I'm not to a point where there's a break to be taken in this pursuit, and so everything is a note. Everything is a idea. Everything is, maybe we should do this. Everything is, and you almost have to be fleet of foot, and you have to be ready to jump and pull the laptop out and do this thing because then they're gone and they never happen. And you could speak of these things, and if you never follow through, then what does it matter? And so anyways, my wife has helped a lot when she'll edit some little clips and throw them on TikTok, and edit some or make some Facebook posts or whatever. But what really irritates me is if we're going to go up there, and now you haven't seen your daughter in a week, and so you got to do one or the other. If you're going to watch the kids, that's one thing. That counts. Hang out with the kids, have fun with the kids, go do things, go to the zoo, go to whatever. That counts as a thing, even if it's just a fun thing. You know what I mean? To me, in my opinion. And the other thing is, if you're not in your own home and all this stuff, and you're doing our normal stuff, then you can, if you're up there with me, you can come help me. But I can't ask every weekend. You know how much money I make. You know how much money we spend, and I'm willing to pay. When you're helping me, you make a good amount of money, There's not a lot of places where it can be like, there's an unlimited amount of work to do on the weekends, and you'll get paid, a good amount of money to be there. We will, as a family. We don't have to pay anybody else. So maybe that. So anyways, what happens is every weekend it's, do you want me to help you? It's like, I guess there's this big chunk in my head. It's like, don't you want to help if you're not going to be watching the kids? Don't you want to make money? It's one day, or 2 days even. Don't you want to? I've put this responsibility of like, here's some things you can take care of. You're the boss. You do whatever you want. You work as much as you want. You get paid this amount of money, plus the cost of everything that you had to buy to make it look pretty. You know what I mean? It's the ultimate gardening job. But every week it's the same question. Do you want my help? Do you want, and eventually I get tired of hearing that, because when somebody says they got a project to do, and somebody says, I need this done, I just go do it. I don't ask, hey, do you want me to come make sure I do that this week? No, I just go do the project. If they say, hey, Conrad, this is something I think you can take care of, it pays this much, and it needs to be done this much. Okay, I hope we never talk again, because I'm going to take care of it. I don't call every week and say, hey, did you want me to make sure I do that this week? Is that something that you want done? Do you want me to do this area? I just do it. I do it all. I do what needs to be done or doesn't need to be done. And the biggest reason I do it is because that's how I make money for us four. It's almost like when, and I get this feeling, it's probably not fair, but I get this feeling when my wife hangs out with her parents, there's this safety net that is thrown over her. and probably my kids. And they want me to be included in this safety net, but I won't allow it. And I think that's what the friction is. They want me to feel like, Connor, you don't have to worry so much. We got you. And what none of these idiots understand is I don't want that. I can do it. But you can't take, or you can, but now you're causing friction between my own family and I. Because I would like the story to be, we did it. My wife and I did it. My kids and I did it. We did it together, and we all had to work hard. But if I take them up there, the we thing goes away. They go, why would I go help him when if he fails, it's going to be okay. My mom and dad will take care of us. And I want to be like, your mom and dad will take care of you. I won't be around for that. I will go fail. I'll move on. I'm an adult and I can work and I can outwork anybody. I'm not letting somebody else take care of me. It's not happening. I've never asked for money. I'm not going to ask for money. I never have. And it's insulting to me that could even be, even if it's subconscious, that's there. And I think that's what, I get that feeling. So what happened that really ticked me off is my wife had texted me that, my daughter's friend had invited her to the zoo or is actually this other place, like a kid's exploration place on Saturday. And my wife was going to come down to do gardening for $35 an hour. I don't get to make that if she's not there unless I do all the gardening and I got to do all the other stuff that's there, And so I said, well, no, she hasn't seen her daughter all week. We got in late that night before. And so I thought, no, this is a great thing for, why don't you just spend the day with your daughter? You can take her to exploration place, or you can go to the zoo, because that's what you want to do more than anything is be a mom. I mean, we've had that talk. And you haven't got to be all week to her, and your son is off at his buddy's house that lives up there. And so this is don't worry about it, Although you just got a ticket for $185 and we're driving to Kansas City and, all these different, we know that the 4th of July, we know we're going to have to buy fireworks. We know we're going to have to buy food. We know all these different things. So there's a tremendous, amount of finances that we're going to spend over the next few days. So it would be nice to make the money that you could come down here and make, but it would be nicer if you spent the time with Rowan. So I get a thumbs up, like, all right, okay, sounds good. Well, that next day I get up and I go mow and I get everything done, and I get up to my in-laws around 4:30 or so, 4:45. So it's pretty not too late, and we're going to drive to Kansas City that night. And when I get there, everybody's just sitting. They're just sitting and I get it's hot outside, but they're just sitting watching TV and they're not doing anything, And I've been busting my ass to get all of this stuff done for us to be able to have this time. And it just felt like you guys just sit here and wait even though nobody's doing anything. You just sit here and wait for me to get done. We're just waiting on you. Really, it's as if I'm like at a bar. We're just waiting on you. Like, well, what you guys can be doing, this isn't, that when I'm gone doing that, I don't want to be doing that. So while you're sitting here waiting, there's things you can do. And I'm not really talking to my in-law. They can do whatever they want. But to my wife, there's things you can do. There could have been, clips and clips and clips could be cut out of and be posted and all these different things. You could have done any of these things. And it's like, well, I don't want to. Well, what do you want to do then? I want to be with my daughter. Okay, well, what happened? She didn't take her. She just dropped her off at her friends. And so she went and sat at my in-laws and maybe helped my mother-in-law and all that, which is fine, except for how am I supposed to feel about that? Do you want to help them? They're done. They pursued their stuff. They're retired. And by the way, is something, they don't help us. They don't help us in our pursuit. They mocked it and said it's a failure. So why am I helping them do anything? So it made me mad because, I didn't need I do need your help. I need it every time. I've said it all over and over again, but I can't keep doing it. So eventually I say, fine, I don't need your help. It's almost like you ask as to the point where I don't need it, and that goes on everything. And it's just like, so what happened is, then we go up to Kansas City, and for 4th of July, there's going to be all these people there, my dad and brothers and sisters, and a lot of people that haven't come, and my uncle's kids and their kids and a buddy from high school and all this. And so that day, nobody's talked about it except for me. Hey, what are we going to do for, dinner tonight? And, I don't know. That's all you get. Nobody. Right. Except for it becomes a huge deal when it's time for everybody to eat, Had I not said that, it was a huge deal, even though I then just took it upon myself. I said, fine, Heather, get in the car, let's go to get some stuff, and we'll just cook hamburgers and hot dogs and stuff, and potato salad, the traditional fare for that. So we go and buy all that stuff, we come back, and then we prep it all, we cook it all, and by the time it's getting close to eat, people were like, oh, is it going to be ready yet? It's like, you guys weren't even part of this. It's going to be ready when it's ready, but at the same time, if it wasn't for us even just taking the initiative, or me specifically, taking the initiative, and then going and buying it all, and going and doing it all, and then having to sit here and feel like now we're under pressure to make sure it's all done. That gets frustrating. But my wife knows how much money that was. So if you add just in the past week with tickets and everything, all this stuff, and then the few times where I could have made a little extra money, I needed to have help, and no help was given. And on those times, the person that was, the reasoning was, well, I'm going to go spend time with my kid, and then doesn't. So I've got a little bit of boiling going on inside of me, but nothing happens, really. And then the next day, my dad's going to leave on Monday. My dad's going back, so Saturday night, everything's okay. And I don't blow up, but I'm still pretty pissed about the whole, you're not helping me, with the landscaping. You're not helping me with the show. You're not watching your kid. Why do you get, and I hate this, it's resentful. It's more like, are you not aware of all the stuff that I have to do? And in order for you to, then you just sit at your parents and not do any of those things? That's not fair. And it's not even about being fair. It's insulting to your husband to put all that on him and then sit there. And not be the mom and not. So I just got real, and it's a damn shame, but I tried to, and I said it, but it's almost like it gets ignored. Like I don't get to have that feeling. And I just always, and I've always thought that, why don't we flip it? Why don't you think about everything that, in any situation, think about something that I've agreed to do with somebody, and then think about everything that happened, and think about, could it have happened without Conrad, or could it have happened without you? Could he do it without you? And I try to make everything I do in my life where somebody should look back when I helped and say, I think he could have done it all by himself. Right. That's what I try to do. That's all I try to do. And even if I have help, even better. We had a shorter day. But anyways, that next Monday, that 4th, everybody gets up, and my wife and sister go on a little jog, and then they get back, and my sister, who's a collegiate runner, and they just did a couple miles. Like, I'll go run a couple more miles. And the day before, I ran about 6, and I'm still on my track. I've not missed a day since I said I wasn't going to miss a day, but, I didn't feel that up to it, but it's fine. I went out, we ran a couple miles, pretty hard, really. And and got back and did our other workout. And then my dad, as we're getting ready, this is the awareness part. Nobody else does this, I guess. And when I say this, I'm not trying to, it's not a pat on the back. It could be a curse, you know. But as I'm in a room with 20 people, like we were that morning, I sit around and I hear everything that's going on. You know what I mean? I sit there, drink my coffee, and I hear my dad talking to my uncle about, well, we're going to do this. And then I hear my dad talking to Tug about, well, I think when we get back, we need to spray some weeds over there. And he's talking about that day. You know what I mean? I hear all that stuff going on. I'm not talking to him. He's not telling me, you know, but I'm just listening. And as I'm I could be having a conversation with somebody and pick up little parts around me of what's going on. And maybe it's a skill I've developed from this or whatever. And maybe not everybody has that skill, but it's an awareness. So I knew he was in kind of a rush, but he won't say anything to my uncle, and he won't say anything to us that he's in a rush to get out of there. And then, so I'm just like, all right. And then I'm just kind of packing and getting things put up because it was a party the night before. And I don't like to, I feel like if I start doing it, right now there's 20 people, we can get it done in 20 minutes. And not everybody's going to help, and not everybody has to, because that's the funny thing about life. You can sit at your parents' house and not do anything, and there's no consequence, and there's no difference. And in fact, I'm the asshole when it all comes down to it. And that's a funny thing, man. You know, I could just be the guy that just sits at my uncle's when we go there. Nobody cares, because I have family members that do it. Nobody cares. They don't have to cook. They don't have to say what's for dinner. They just have to wait for something to be served, eat it, go lay back down and get on their phone. And really, there's not really that much difference in the way they're treated, if any. Maybe even babied, you know, in the way that I get treated. So that can be frustrating. But after spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on food and fireworks and tickets and gas and everything over the past week, you know, dude, I haven't bought a pair of shoes maybe in a long time. And you know, my wife, again, is being aware, should know that, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's not that I don't have money to buy shoes. It's this whole next part's going to be completely, the shoes are just somebody pouring gasoline on a fire that was already raging in there. But it's an entitlement fire. It's like, it's almost, that's the part. It's a fire of entitlement that irritated me. And so my dad pulls me aside. He's like, are you going to go? Because my sister had mentioned it, apparently to my wife too, which is, all of that's fine. You know, that, are you going to go get some shoes? Grace said that you're going to go shoe shopping with her. And there's a big shopping center with a bunch of, you know, outlets and stuff. And I've been running, and a lot of that is, has nothing to do, I started on my own, but my sister has, since she's graduated college, has used our relationship, that's a way that we've connected. You know, we'd sit there and text each other every day, our workouts, you know, so it's kind of our thing. And my dad's real proud of that one, it's a way for us to stay connected, and two, healthy, and I know he's proud of it. And so I was like, well, I know you got to go. I know you're going to go to Lear and work over there. And he's like, yeah, I am, but I want you to do that. I want you to go with your sister and get a pair of shoes. You deserve it. All that stuff, which is, it's nice. It's a nice thing for a dad to say, you know. So I said, all right, I'll run over there real quick. And I'm trying to get back. Well, unbeknownst to me, or whatever, you know, we go in there. My younger brother is going to get him a new set of Vans, you know what I mean? Because he's got that vibe going on. And my daughter and my wife get in the truck too with my sister, and I'm like, what are you guys doing? Well, we need to get new shoes too. And it's like, you know, my daughter has new shoes. She just got them. She just didn't have them on her. They're at home. And I don't mind buying my kid shoes because my kid, and I really don't buy my wife's shoes, but it was such a big, it is a big thing in my own stomach to feel like I'm going to buy myself something that is solely for me. And especially solely for me that's not going to be used in an effort to pursue this. You know what I mean? And even this, I probably should have bought a lot of equipment a long time ago as I'm doing this. But, I don't like it. I don't like spending money on, on anything. On anything that's not going to help advance, because I can get by without it. I'll buy used stuff. I'll buy used shirts. I'll take Eric's and Casey's used shoes. When Eric needs a new pair of running shoes, he calls me because his old ones are wore out, and he knows, oh, that's perfect. That's what I'm wearing. And so the biggest gift I got was my sister, the one that I was going to take when she got me those shoes for Christmas, and I talked about that. And but it's been 7 months. I've run in them every day. They're probably a little wore out, and I've mowed in them, and I've, I don't just run and that's it. I think they'd last me a long time if that's all I did. But every time I get something, just like this Ross Perot shirt that I'm wearing, it immediately gets ruined from working, whether it be on the taco truck or cutting grass. So everything gets, they're covered in grease and grass stains and everything else. Which everybody just kind of looks like, that's Conrad. It's like, yeah, well, it's the way I have to be. You think I want to wear nice clothes, or I want to look nice, or I want to, there's a part of everybody I think that wants it, but it's almost like I can't afford to have two sets, and I don't have time to be like, oh, this part I'm going to get dirty on. Let me go change so I don't ruin that shirt, and then I'll change again. No, you just have to go after it. But it's just, so we go to the thing, and, they're just picking out shoes, and I just sit down. I was like, I can't afford 3 pairs of shoes today. Not after the 120 on fireworks, which I gets cheap, and the 150 on food, which I gets cheap, and the 180 in fuel, which I get as cheap, and the 180 and a ticket, 4 days before, which I get as cheap. But it ain't cheap for me, and I know how much money I'm making, and I can't do that, And the fact that the fact that my wife in particular didn't want to go help take some of that burden off with gardening that weekend. And then I felt manipulated in the fact that she used hanging out with my daughter as a way to not do it. And I thought that's a noble reason not to do this. That's why I'm willing to work this hard, is so you get to spend more time with the kids. But if you're not going to even spend time with the kids, and you're going to pawn them off to somebody else and then just sit, oof. And they didn't help me. And then if you are going to sit, then help me pursue this dream. There's none there. Okay. And now why am I buying shoes? And so they pick out their shoes, we buy them, and then I guess the part that really was when she asked me to hold them so she could go buy more. For my daughter, can you hold these? No. I bought them. I don't have to hold them. I bought them for you. You could say thank you. But that didn't happen. Even at some point, it's like, hey, do you think I'd be all right if I bought? It's like, well, I don't have to. Dude, if you're not working and there's only one person bringing it in, it would be kind of nice to be like, would it be all, could we swing this? I don't have to be may I, may I go do this, sir? No, but hey, honey, we spent a lot of money this weekend for everyone. The fireworks were for all the kids, not just our kids. The food was for everyone there, not just our family. You know what I mean? We've went above and beyond to try to help make this a good experience for everyone there. But all that burden comes back to me, not to both of us. And So it just became a lot of pressure. And then I think the other side of it is there's this little ticking in the back of my head of the whole thing that I'm dreaming of, the whole thing. There's no indication that it will even work. Every indication is that it won't work, you know? So to have this goal or this dream that I have, and know that you've been working on it for so long and it won't even, you know, that there's a huge part of logic that tells you that, what are you doing? It won't work. It hasn't worked. It won't work, you know? And so it just gave me this whole panic attack, basically, where it's like, I got to get out of here. And so we got back and get our shit. We're getting out of here because I can't sit up here. I can't do this. Everybody lives in this. We're in a bubble right now where I got to get out of this bubble. I got to go back and I got to get my shed done and I just got to do my stuff. And I need all the help I can get, but I'm not begging for it from anybody. But what I'm not going to do is just bend over to make sure that everybody has this great time and spend all this time ensuring everybody's great time and not get to pursue what everybody doesn't believe that I can make it anyways. Not get to pursue the thing that, you know, it's almost a joke. I sit there and people bring it up at the thing, you know. It's so it is you know, I don't know if we're good or not. What it is basically is the metaphor is, I've always been the kind of person that is aware, like if I go out to eat with my dad or with my in-law, even my dad, but even with my in-laws, so anybody, really, anybody. Well, first of all, nobody ever, and I don't get any credit for it, and it goes the other way, actually. You know, I can go out to eat with the in-laws, and I'll be my wife and my two kids, and maybe the bill is $120, right, for whatever we're eating, right? I'll reach over and give he'll grab the check. I'll get the check. Yeah, just one check, fine. Then I'll reach over and give him $100. And he'll take it. Won't say anything. And everybody walks away thinking that Grandpa paid for everything. And I've let that happen every time we've went out. But even the funnier thing is, we could be sitting at that table, and my kids don't order that much, but my in-laws could order 2 or 3 beers. They'll get whatever they want, appetizers and entree, everything. I'll order the cheapest thing on the thing. I'll order the hamburger, or whatever the cheapest option is, depending on where we're at. My wife will not. She'll order whatever she wants. You know, I've always been the kind of person, if somebody else, even if it's, even though in my mind I know I'm going to be paying for my meal so I can get whatever I want. But I know that that's not the perception is I'm not. But nobody even picks up on the fact that, have you not noticed that if I go out to eat with somebody, I order the cheapest thing? You know, I don't want to, especially if somebody's picking up the tab. I've always been that. You know, I don't want somebody to feel like they have to take care of me, you know? But, and that's, to me, that's awareness. I think that the few people that are left that pick up on that, you know, if you take, my brother used to be like this, Gump. My dad would, and we didn't have much money, my dad would take us out to eat, and wherever it was, and we'd all order, or my dad, myself, you know, maybe my cousin Brandon, you know, would order the lunch special, whatever that's on special, even if we didn't like it, you know, and my brother would sit there and order whatever he wanted, and then sit there and complain with the, make sure it doesn't have this, and make sure it has that, and does it have the, and his order would take 15 minutes to get through, and it would be twice as much as everybody else's. And he's also the guy that's, probably at the table not even putting in the work, And that always rubbed me the wrong way. It's like, and I don't know what that is. But anyways, I thought about it for 2 days. I mean, I thought, well, maybe you're just upset because you didn't get much sleep and all this, and you're overreacting, and didn't help. I was pretty upset about it even all day yesterday. Really upset about it. I guess I just don't like feeling like, I guess I already know that the pressure's already all on me, but I don't like feeling like people are comfortable in accepting that. You know what I mean? Like, those around you that are supposed to love and support you, or whatever that means, are like, yeah, that's totally fine that it's all on him. Now, let's go to the pool. Let's go buy new shoes and go to the pool. Let Daddy worry about the problems. I'm going to worry about him anyway, but there is ways to make sure that I don't have to worry. I'll take you out to eat anyways, but there is a way to not make that the most, expensive endeavor. And then if you are, be like, hey, babe, I know my meal is kind of expensive, but I'll come help you out this weekend. There's some projects I want to do there. That it could be that simple, but it's not. It's the opposite, and I know that this isn't the funniest, clearly. It's just what's going on. But we got to a point last night where it's okay. I think I'm getting over it, or accepting it, and I think maybe just getting the shed is a big part of it, because that just sits there and weighs on my mind. But then, I also know that's all on me, So, anyways, I'm going to get this uploaded. I'm just a dirty figure, dude, and I got to get some more figs in me. That's probably one of the big problems, too. So I'll figure it out, dude. No pun intended, or I guess pun intended. But, I'm not mad at, that's not even being mad. It's more just being frustrated at it's insulting. It's a lack of awareness. It's a lack of understanding that, hey, I got to change everything I'm doing because it ain't making me happy. I can't go run a taco truck if nobody's listening to the show. I can go run a taco truck and sweat my ass off and make as many burritos and tacos as a town wants, and I've proved it. But I can't do it if nobody that I just did that for subscribes to the show, because I'm not doing it to make... I don't even give a shit if we're making money. I have no cares about that when it comes to pursuing this. So I want it to be showing that people are starting to listen. That's what I want. I want people to appreciate the fact that this is what I want to do more than anybody else that's even doing it. And I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to show that. I don't know. But I can't spend my time, if I've got the ability to have time, I can't spend it doing something that doesn't at least fulfill at least put more track down in front of this train that is this dream. You know what I mean? So it's got to be moving in that direction. And for my efforts, I've spent a lot of time pursuing other people's dreams for them, with them, helping them. And at some point I got to be like, this is mine, and I could use all the help I can get, and if you ask me what to do, I can point you in the right direction, but don't tell me you're going to do something and then not do it, because then you're out. I don't want any help. Because I wouldn't do that to you. So, anyways, sometimes you're just going to get a deep dive inside of this brain, dude, this waterhead, and that's today. So, I'm going to try to get this studio buttoned up. I'm excited for it. I have a vision of it, but it's also one of those things when it's like only in TV, it seems, or only in TV shows where what somebody drew out on paper, it looks like that or better. In my head, it's like this perfect thing, and then when I get done, I'm like, looks like shit, So I'm doing my best today. I'm going to try to stay positive. You stay positive too. I'll be all right. We'll be all right. But there's this part where I almost want to run and hide. That's the part. And not run and hide in the sense of I want to get away from all of these, even if it's the people I like the most, just to be like, maybe you guys aren't getting it. Because that's what I feel like saying. You're not understanding. I don't have to do all the things that I'm doing other than take care of the property that pays me. That's all I have to do because I committed to that person. But even more importantly, all the other stuff that I do throughout a week, I don't got to do. If I'm doing something for you, I don't got to do it. So what maybe you're not understanding, the only thing I want to do is this show. That's it. I tell that to people like, what do you want? Yeah, go do your show. Yeah, do your little thing. And then it's like, I got to run and hide and just be doing my show. And when people say, hey, is Conrad coming? No, he's doing his show. Why can't he stop doing his show? That's the part you're not getting. Because that's all I care about. And all I've done is stop doing it. To go make sure, thinking that if I do things for people, they'll help me on the thing that I want. And that ain't the case. So, that's where we're at on that. And, it'll all be fine. It'll all work out, I think. But you just get all tied up sometimes on the inside when, and I can't be the only, clearly I'm not the only one. There's books and programs and everything else for people that just get all tore up inside. And so this helps, getting it off my chest. I don't even really know if it makes sense. And that's all right, I think, because I don't know if it can, because it isn't that simple. It's all a bunch of feelings that are all tied into the same kinds of things, and they all get conflicted with each other, so anyways, once I get this, hopefully I get this done at a decent hour tonight, then maybe I can get some photos of it. I think it's gonna be real dope in the studio. So sorry I didn't get a lot. I have a lot of funny thoughts and topics. I couldn't do it unless I got all that off, even though I'm just talking to myself in a torn down shed. But if you're going through something, if you got stuff, leave a comment. I'd like to go over them. Maybe I should say that stuff at the beginning. I guess I'll try to type it in the description. And let me know what you got going on here on YouTube or anywhere else on the Con Radio social media. Con Radio on Facebook, Con Radio on Instagram, or Patreon. So everything's free as far as this show goes, shed shows, and everything moving forward. I think I'm going to, maybe we're going to try to do some video stuff with those guys and have that be part of the Patreon thing. And when I mean those guys, it's our other show, those guys from Wichita, and there might be extra shows in there, but I'll get into that later. So, with that being said, have an okay day, and don't let your meat loaf.